Welcome to Blood Bowl 2 Legendary Edition. I'm playing my Amazons, and this is my review of last season's Open Ladder campaign. The Amazons have played 5 matches so far, and we have 5 straight victories. Unfortunately, 3 of those victories were due to concessions by my opponent. So I feel my team is severely under-leveled at this point in the campaign. 2 of my blitzers have leveled up. I'm very happy that I finally managed to level them up. But still, I think overall, the Amazons are woefully underprepared for our next opponents, the Camry. Yeah, sort of an unusual team to see in the open ladder. I think most coaches find them a little frustrating due to the some of the nega traits. But this is my Amazon team, and this is the coin toss. So before we get into the we continue the replay, let's take a look at both teams. As I noted earlier, only 4 of my players have leveled up. I think this was the first level up. My catcher, I've given her the block skill, so she now has block and dodge, which makes her very hard to be knocked down. This one is the next level up was, I think, the line woman. I've given her wrestle, and the blitzer, Morning Glory, I gave her guard, which is one of those incredibly useful skills. I'll get to that in a second. And the final level up is my blitzer. I gave her Mighty Blow. But the other team, so before we get into what their level ups, let's take a look at the team in general. The Camry have 4 very intimidating players: the Tomb Guardians, Movement 4, Strength 5, Agility 1, and AV 9. So they are slow, strong, and very hard to remove from the pitch. But on the plus side, they do have the decay negative trait, which means they have to roll, whenever they are injured, they have to roll twice. So if you do manage to injure them, chances are they are going to be fired, or they are going to suffer some serious injury that will force the opponent to fire them, or they might even be killed. They do have regeneration, but regeneration only works 50% of the time. So these are the main heavy hitters for the Camry, and I think this is the main reason why coaches would want to play the Camry. On the downside, the rest of the team is sort of disappointing. The Skeletons, this form the bulk of the team. I think they have below average movement, average strength, below average agility, and below average armor. They do come with thick skull and regeneration, so if you do manage to remove them from the pitch or injure them, it is possible that they might return later in the match. The most important players for the Camry, aside from the Tomb Guardians, will be the Blitz-Ras. They start with block, which makes them reliable when blocking. They have also above, or not above, they have average movement, average strength, and average armor. The Camry team as a whole tend to suffer in terms of agility, so you are not going to see a lot of passing plays from them. But what they do very well, and that is to slowly but inexorably move towards the end zone. It is very hard to stop the Tomb Guardians. As I noted earlier, it's hard to knock them down because they have Strength 5. They also have AV9, and it's hard to remove them from the pitch. This will be a serious challenge for the Amazons, because I only have 1 player with guard. So guard is one of those incredibly useful skills both on offense and defense. What it does is it provides an assist even if the player is in the tackle zone of an opponent. So what this usually does, it allows you to turn a 1-die block into a 2-die block, or it prevents the opposition from getting a 2-die block against one of your players. So it's really useful in both two situations, both on offense and defense. It makes the rest of the team better. The more guard you have, I think the better your team is. But guard is usually less common when it comes to teams who engage in running plays or passing plays, because their whole focus isn't on blocking. It is usually on running around the opposition. I also have given one of my blitzers Mighty Blow. As I noted earlier, Mighty Blow is one of the skills. It helps you to, it makes it easier to remove the opposition from the pitch, and it also focuses the opposition attention on this one player. So if the opposition is focused on getting rid of this Mighty Blow player, they aren't focusing on my ball carrier, they aren't focusing on my more vulnerable players like the line woman who haven't leveled up. But I was under no illusions for this match. I knew it was going to be a tough match the moment I saw the matchup. And I didn't have much of a game plan here aside from trying to stall the Camry. They are sort of a slow team. I think only 4 of their players have movement 6. Rest of them are less than that or slower than that. A couple of their players have leveled up. This Blitz-Ra has dodge. This one has both block and dodge, which makes it hard for me to knock him down. If he has the ball, I'm going to have trouble knocking him down, because my team does not have any tackle at the moment. So this was going to be a tough match. I think this will be the first stern test of the Amazons. We'll see what happens. So the Camry coach is setting his players up for his offensive drive. Here is the kickoff. He's hoping for a... Nope. Throw a rock and one of my players suffers an injury. We haven't actually started the match. Fortunately, it's only a stun, so she will recover in 2 turns. But not an auspicious start for the Amazons. And here is the first blocks of the match. Camry coach uses one of his block players to start with, and then uses one of his Blitz-Ras. This one is only a dodge, or sorry, pushback because of dodge. Here's the blitz from Blitz-Ra. Manages to knock down the line woman, who is injured. So we are down to 10. And we haven't actually begun our turn yet. And now this is the scary part, watching the Tomb Guardians in action. This Tomb Guardian gets a 3-die block, which makes his blocks more reliable. They do not start with block. They do not have any useful skills like... they do have regeneration, and they do come with decay, which is a negative trait. But they are a very intimidating presence on the field. It's going to be hard to punch through this front line here to get through the ball, and my opponent here is being very careful in spreading his Tomb Guardians out. So it's almost impossible for me to get to the ball right now. So was it a smart move here? First blitz, going after a skeleton without any skills. So this was a failure, a 1 in 36. Chances of succeeding with this 1 dice block was... I think it was 5 out of 6, which is an 83% chance. With the reroll, it went up to 97%, but because double skull, which was of course a 2.8% chance of that happening, my first attempt at blocking failed, and it's immediately a turnover. So not off to a great start here. Very unfortunate. So the Camry coach decides to exploit this by moving one of the skeletons here. What this does is it prevents this Blitz-Ra from getting up and moving freely. There's a distinct danger that this Blitz-Ra, if I get her up, she's going to get surfed. So the Camry are not in any great hurry. The whole game plan here is to move slowly but surely towards the end zone and whittle down my numbers with blocks. He has one mighty blow player. Kind of odd that he didn't use it to block or blitz. Sorry. So where is the blitz going to come from? This player? Nope. So he's going to target this player then, the thrower. Block versus no block. Fortunately, Dodge saves this thrower from being injured. This thrower has had a lot of bad luck. I think the first match she played, she got KO'd. Oh, sorry, she was injured with a broken jaw, so she missed the next game. So this was attempting to free up the Blitz-Ra. This time my one dice block succeeds. I move up a little. I'm not sure this was the smartest move here. So what this has done is given the Camry coach an opportunity to serve this player. This player, with a one die block, he could push the Blitz-Ra back, and the Blitz would push this Blitz-Ra into the crowd, who usually very enthusiastic about meeting their players. And by enthusiastic, I mean kicking the living stuffing out of them. So I've prevented the Blitz-Ra from being surfed here, and instead moved her over here where she's going to get surfed from over here. Not good play at all. So my first few turns were pretty wretched. I dodge out to prevent the Tomb Guardians from getting a free block. So all this is mainly attempting to slow down the Camry. And this was a failed dodge, a 1 in 9. It results in the line woman being stunned. Fortunately, no pitch removal, but it means this player is going to be punched by this Tomb Guardian. So here's the attempted surf. So the Blitz is going to come from here, and here it comes. Fails this time. Still, this Blitz-Ra is in trouble. So we have the same number of players with block. I have one extra block here, the catcher. This has not been a good play so far. So this was a 1 in 9. Tomb Guardian got a book down, and that resulted in a turnover. So we have an opportunity here. How am I going to exploit this? I think my thinking here at this point was attempting to save this Blitz-Ra. I have not blitzed with the Mighty Blow player right now. This would be another one die block. Is it worth taking? Well, it's certainly worth a try. It's going to be very hard to knock down this player because he has both block and dodge. Here comes a blitz. Nope, it's against this Blitz-Ra. Does not succeed. So I think this was a case of my being rattled after that failed one dice block earlier. That 1 in 36 with the one die block and re-roll left me a little gun shy, I think. So dodging out to make sure my players are safe. I don't really have much of a screen here. So this 2 die block succeeds rather improbably. But this is only a temporary measure, I think. If you take a look at the situation over here, this Blitz-Ra is still in danger of being pushed off the field. But nonetheless, if these 3 players are focused on getting this player crowd served, it means they aren't going to be moving forward. And if you take a look at this situation here, I got 2 players stunned. This defense here is looking very thin at the moment. So seemingly a smart move here, attempting to hunt down the ball carrier, put pressure on him. But because the Camry have so many free players over here, putting this player over here was maybe poor play, because what it means is if the ball carrier moves forward down here, this player would be separated from the rest of the team. And I've got a lot of players stunned at the moment. And remember, I've already got 1 player injured. Another dodge succeeds, and I once again thinking here sort of sound. At face value, what I'm doing here is threatening the ball carrier. But if you take a look here, not much of a defense at all. So could the Camry coach exploit this? It's a knockdown, so the player is still improbably on the field somehow. So the Camry coach has now got to think about freeing up the ball carrier. Should be relatively easy to do for him. This Blitz-Ra is free. So he's marking my players, forcing me into making dodges. There's a base 89% chance of dodging away with the dodge skill. But as we saw earlier, it can fail. Here comes a blitz, attempting to free up the ball carrier. It succeeds with a knockdown. No armor break. So this is sort of interesting. 2 players over here, they are down at the moment. But if I could dodge out, there was an opportunity here to get a 2 die block on the ball carrier. Would it succeed? Chances are no. As I noted earlier in previous videos, to knock down a player with both block and dodge, even with a player with block, and neither of these linewomen have block, so it's going to prove very difficult. Even if you block with a 2 die block with a player that has block, it is going to there's only a 31% chance, and that goes up to 52% with a re-roll. So not that great. So the lack of tackle on this team is going to cause some problems here in dealing with this one. Yep. Another failed dodge. This one was a 1 in 36 again. So my rolls weren't that great, but I don't think you can blame the rolls or the RNG or the dice rolls solely for the predicament I find myself in right now. There was some bad play here involved earlier. So the Camry coach is in a good position by dodging in first and failing that. These players are now in danger of being smacked by this Camry defense. And this player is now sort of out of position. This player is sort of out of position. So the Camry coach is looking good for the 1-0 lead before halftime. First block. Stunned. And my guard player goes down. It's not going to be available for 2 turns. Camry coach is being very sensible here. Safe moves first. Taking out this player, I think. Succeeds. No pitch removal, but he's done enough to free up the ball carrier who can move forward. So my players are spread out like this, and when they are spread out like this, it is going to be incredibly hard to get past these Tomb Guardians. So once again, my opponent is being very sensible in his positioning here. Not much I can do here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players over here. And the ball carrier is over here. So the question is, does the Camry coach score? No, I don't think he is going to show any willingness to score, because the Camry are such a slow team. And my players on average are faster than his. He's not going to give me an opportunity to score any equalizer before halftime if he scores now. He's going to simply take his time here. Mark the ball carrier. Again, this is a token attempt here. This Tomb Guardian is free. Making all sorts of desperate moves here to attempt to stymie the movement of these Tomb Guardians. So that was a very risky dodge there. Very slim chance of succeeding. Nonetheless, I was pretty desperate here. Not much I could do to prevent the touchdown, but nonetheless I was intent on forcing the opponent into making dice rolls. Here's the blitz. Double sixes. And it's another stunned. So pretty much in touchdown distance here. Camry coach declines to score. Content to stall until turn 8. He has 2 rerolls remaining. He's going to attempt to pummel my players. Try to injure a few more of them to set himself up nicely for the second half. I've given him so many free blocks here. Another stunned. Is there anything I could do to prevent the touchdown? Yeah, I don't think I could do much here. So many players out of position. So that was a failed attempt to punch through here. Red die block, which is to say to roll 2 dice and let the opponent choose the result, is sort of safe if you have a reroll and you are blocking with a player with block against a player without block. But because again, once again, the another 1 in 36 here. If the blitz had succeeded, I could have attempted to move the player up and attempt to mark this Blitz-Ra. Again, it's not going to be much use because the not Blitz-Ra, the Throw-Ra, he has both block and dodge, so pretty much out of options at this point. Simply a case of waiting out my turns until the second half. Meanwhile, my opposition is making all sensible plays here, attempting to whittle down my numbers, trying to break the armor. Ha! So this one succeeded once again. So this blitzer once again finds herself on the sidelines here. Dangerously close to the crowd. So if you take a look at the situation here, nothing much to do. I could get a 1 die block if I dodge this blitzer out, but I'm out of rerolls. So even if the dodge succeeds, to knock down this Throw-Ra with a 1 dice block is going to require a 1 in 6. Only a 17% chance of succeeding. Was it worth taking? Well, I think yes. There's nothing else. Not much else I could do. Maybe I should have dodged this blitzer out first, but because this is this would only succeed 75%. This only had a 75% chance of succeeding because I was dodging into a tackle zone. So this was a 1 die block. Kind of risky. Here's the blitz, I think. And we immediately fail a dodge. Was that a blitz? I don't think that was a blitz. So very disappointed in my general play, but the rolls were kind of awful as well. So once again, I think this time the my opponent would finally succeed in removing this player. 3-die block. Pushes the thrower back. Another 3-die block. This one almost failed. Attacker down, attacker down. Push. Finally scores in turn 8, which is probably the smart thing to do. It only gives me one turn to equalize, and that's not going to be enough. So 1-0 to the Camry, and the coach has played pretty well, I think. I was hoping that there would be some exploitable mistakes here, but he's not given me any room to maneuver. And as I noted, on a few occasions in this first half, I pretty much let myself down with some poor play. So you take a look at how intimidating this front line is. It's going to be hard to punch through, so the only way is to go around them. We don't have much time here in the first half, so it's simply a matter of blitzing one of his players. Hope to get a removal. As you can see, I positioned my Mighty Blow player here. Yes, the kick. And they get an extra team reroll. Okay. So positioning myself for the assist. Here's the blitz with the Mighty Blow Blitz-Ra. Succeeds and... nope. Oh yeah. Managed to injure him. Does he regenerate? Yes, he does. So I was hoping for a pitch removal, hoping to get a numbers advantage, but no such luck. Can we get one SPP through a passing play? Nope. So that is the first half. Pretty abysmal for the Amazons. Pretty much by the book for the Camry. They did everything the Camry were expected to. Managed to injure one of my players, score one touchdown, and now all they have to do is prevent the Amazons from moving freely. Could we do it? Could I equalize? So he's positioning himself pretty deep here, or initially. Keeps going back and forth. So he spread his Tomb Guardians about the field. Because they have only 4 movement, they aren't going to be running about. So positioning is going to be key with them. For my part, my idea, my thinking was I need to circle around. Not much choice in terms of setups. Was this a smart setup here? It's not really clear what I'm going for. Am I going to punch through the middle? Because if I did that, it would mean that these 4 Tomb Guardians would be able to converge on any cage in this area. Let's see what I do here. Here's the kick. They get another reroll. So I had two Blitz-Ra babes here. The Camry did have a TV advantage. It's only a stunned thanks to COL. Because the Camry has set themselves so deep, I had time to reposition. I don't think this was a smart move. My thinking here is I'm going to prevent the Tomb Guardians from moving freely, but what I've actually done is given them free blocks against my players. So that was a failed pickup. I roll another one. The Camry coach moves one of his Tomb Guardians up. I think he was feeling kind of confident at this point, hoping maybe to extend his lead. Let's see whether it pays off. 2-die block against a line woman who dodges out of the way, but now finds herself marked by these two players. She could still dodge out, of course. But again, my dodges haven't been too successful in this game so far. So there was always a danger of another 1 in 9. Ball is over here. If I pick the ball up with this line woman, could move somewhere around this area. I had some players free to form some sort of rudimentary defense for the ball. But where am I going to punch through? This area here is the most likely candidate. Two of his Tomb Guardians are over here. They're going to find it hard to move over this side, especially if I position my players to make it hard for them to move freely. This was a 1 in 9, but because my player had block, I could knock down the skeleton. Another stunned because COL prevented the player from being knocked out. So once again I'm preparing to move the ball up here. Once again the pickup fails, even with a 67% chance. At this point I just decided to use one of my rerolls. I'm down to 2 now, and I have 6 turns to play after this. Time is running out. So I think what I should have done here is try to move this player up here. Because I ran out of time. The reason for that is try to prevent this Blitz-Ra from moving freely. The Blitz-Ra is one of the few players on the Camry team who starts with block. So the Blitz-Ra moves back. It's pretty apparent what I'm going to do here. So that's one of the problems when you telegraph your moves. It makes it easier for your opponents to react. Of course, you could also use that against your opponent by feinting to this area and then switching the play over here. But that works best against really slow teams like the Dwarves. This Camry coach seems to know what he was doing, so I don't think he would fall for that. So where's the blitz? Comes from over here. So he's threatening to crowd surf this player. Was it a smart move? But if you take a look at the way he spread his players around, he's given me very little room to maneuver. So the punch through is not going to occur over here unless I get a couple of lucky breaks. I might have to switch sides here. Let's see what I do. A knockdown, one final block. Another knockdown, and this one is an injury. So I'm down to 10 players for this drive. Still not succeeding with my own attempts to take out his players. So guard is paying off. These players are now out of position, sort of, and I could dodge away. But this Tomb Guardian is a bit of a concern. He could either push my player off the field with a blitz and then move his player inside. Passing play, sort of risky with the Amazons because they have only agility 3. But my thinking here is I've got to give my the ball to someone with block and dodge. The opposition lacks tackle. So hopefully it's going to be hard for them to knock my blitzer down. So I don't think this was a smart move here. This Tomb Guardian was in touching distance of this. It's not even a cage, is it? Begin dodging out to protect the ball carrier. Probably this one succeeded. So this one was a 50% chance, followed by a 67% chance, and I succeeded. But by placing my line woman here, I've given this Tomb Guardian a free block. Yeah, situation here is sort of precarious. The Camry coach has done well here in terms of the way he spread his players about. Pushes the line woman back. Now it's going to block over here, right? So it's compressing play. Where is the blitz coming from? And another pitch removal. So it's now 11-9 in the Camry coach's favor. He blitzes from over here. It's only a push. He's going to move in, is he? Yep. So he's pretty much encircling the ball carrier. That was... this was a mistake by the Camry coach. I think the first major mistake. 2-die block. Defender down and attacker down. He chose defender down. I think he explained in chat that he was tired. But that was kind of a major mistake there. Could I exploit it? So moving the ball carrier back here was pretty much a sign that I was out of ideas. Couldn't find a way to punch through here. So my thinking was I need to keep the ball safe. Maybe try to sucker the Camry rushing forward. If they were greedy and I attempted to rush forward to sack the ball carrier, it would hopefully open up space. Would the Camry coach fall for it? Once again, I'm running out of time here. So I should have dodged this player out. Here's the blitz. No effect. Well, it's only a stun this time. But we're already down 2 players. And for some reason, another weird move. I think that was a mistake, followed by a reroll to attempt to kind of insane, isn't it? That it was a 6 plus 17% chance of succeeding. He decided to reroll it. This was the first use of a reroll for the second half. So 2 turns in which the Camry coach has made a mistake and I was still not able to capitalize. I'm not sure why I opted to blitz over here. Because my players are sort of hemmed in at the moment. I have only 8 players. Sorry, 9 players. This one was pretty much a desperation move here. Hand off to the catcher who had both a block and dodge. Where is she going to go? I mean, there's a lot of space over here, and because these players are all sort of occupied over in this section of the field. But how was I going to protect the ball carrier? I simply did not have enough players free. So this one was pretty much pure desperation on my part. Two desperate GFIs attempting to get closer to the ball carrier. Could the Camry coach sack the ball carrier here? He needed to get a 2-die block, which was going to prove slightly difficult. So this one is attempting to free up players to pull back. Three-die block against a Blitz-Ra. She's only shoved back, but Camry coach has freed up one of his skeletons, who proceeds to mark the ball carrier. She could still dodge out, of course, but here comes the blitz. Would the ball carrier be able to hold on to the ball? No, it fails to knock down the ball carrier. Once again, dodge is keeping my players in the game. Needed desperately to protect this ball carrier. Where do I go with her? Here I'm attempting to get rid of this player. Unfortunately, the Blitz-Ra has block. So what is the play here? Maybe blitz with this Blitz-Ra. Try to push him inside and away from the ball carrier. But that leaves the question of what I'm going to do with the ball carrier. She needs to dodge out. I've positioned my Blitz-Ra here because I'm anticipating a failure. So if she fails to dodge out, at least there's someone here in close vicinity of the scattered ball. But things are not looking rosy for the Amazons here. We're down 2 players. 3 turns remaining. Decide to blitz over here. Finally get a pitch removal. The catcher fails with her first dodge, but then the dodge skill kicks in. So where am I going to go? Bulk of the players are over here. So I think over here, but still there's 1, 2. Camry coach has left himself with some options. So I don't think this was really I've got only 2 turns after this, and my thrower, my catcher has to make up a lot of ground. Mark this thrower. Remember, he has both block and dodge. Even with agility 2, he has a 75% chance of succeeding with a dodge. Time is running out. Could the Amazon score the equalizer? Yes, the blitz does not succeed. But the Tomb Guardian is parked right next to the ball carrier. The Blitz-Ra with block is now free, but she needs to be over here. She's separated by all these Camry players. Another failed attempt to knock down one of my players. This was one of my line women who had 5 SPP before the match. She succeeded with a passing play earlier. So she is ready for a level up, assuming she survives this match. Oh man, what a hairy situation here. 2 turns remaining, 2 rerolls remaining. Ball carrier is over here. Only player free here is this one and this one. Could the Amazons manage to salvage something from this? Move the thrower up to mark this player and to provide an assist. Fail dodge there. Immediately, and that is unfortunate. Ball goes out of bounds and scatters over here. I don't think there was any danger of the Camry scoring another touchdown because they're so slow and they don't have any players here. But was there still an opportunity for us to score? I'm down to 8 players now. And all of them are sort of engaged. It's hard to see where the equalizer is going to come from. Would the Camry coach make a mistake here for me to have a slim chance of scoring the equalizer? Another KO. That leaves us with what? 7 players now. Pretty wretched situation to find ourselves in. These 2 players could sort of dodge out. Let's see what the Camry coach does here. This Tomb Guardian is sort of free. Marks this Blitz-Ra. Attempts to inflict a few more injuries on my players maybe. Gain some SPP that way. So the only last hope for the Amazons is this player right here. Our number 1. The Blitz-Ra with a guard. She's actually not in position for a touchdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just one square shot. Let's see what happens here. So now what has happened is, I think the Camry coach got a little greedy here. There was zero reason to make this block, because there's no way that this Blitz-Ra could make the touchdown. But by making a 1 dice block here, he had to re-roll it. It's turned into a defender stumbles, which of course due to dodge means the Blitz-Ra is pushed back. By pushing this Blitz-Ra back, he has actually given me a chance to score the equalizer. If this line woman dodges out, she could provide the assist, turning a 1 dice blitz from this Blitz-Ra into a 2-die block. So I had a slim hope here. Could I get a 1-dice block, push this Throw-Ra away, pick up the ball and score the touchdown with 2 GFIs. I had 2 rerolls. I could only use one, of course, but so here comes the blitz. I opted not to dodge this linewoman out to provide an assist, so I was pinning my hopes on 1-dice block with the Blitz-Ra. Could she do it? Dodges out successfully with a barely, and now she needs to make a 1-dice block. Okay, so because this was defender stumbles and the Throw-Ra has dodge, I was going to only push this Throw-Ra back. Now this is one of the worst mistakes I made in my Amazons campaign so far. Again, this had everything to do with the fact I was unsure whether I had enough movement allowance to get to the ball and make another move to the end zone. I should not have followed up. This was a huge mistake here. Zero reason to follow up. I could have kept the Blitz-Ra here and instead opted to move here and make 2 GFIs to score the touchdown. Again, I was completely unsure whether I could make this. I had enough movement allowance. Still, was I completely screwed? No, because this Blitz-Ra could still dodge away. She had an 89% chance of dodging away from this Throw-Ra, but then she had to make a 67% chance of picking up the ball and an 83% chance to for the GFI to go here, another 83% chance of for the final GFI to score the equalizer. And that was the biggest mistake of my campaign so far. Should not have followed up with the block here. Forced me into making an unnecessary an unnecessary dodge over here. So this was a fail one because dodge kicked in. I failed it again. That was a 1 in 9, 11% chance of failure, and I managed to fail it. But I should not have put myself in a position where that dodge was necessary. Just such a bad move. So the final move of the match goes to the Camry coach. He had the opportunity to surf this player, had the opportunity to block this player, had the opportunity to block this player as well. All around terrible, absolutely terrible play. Should not have left myself open for this. And it's an injury. Final insult. No casualty, but still. This Blitz-Ra is now going to meet the crowd, who fortunately let her off easily. So this was a just awful ending to a match to forget for the Amazons, I think. 2 final blocks left. I think at this point, like, okay, finally a double skull. So not everything went against me. So this was the final tally. A 1-0 victory to the Camry, thanks to a squandered, or rather a spurned opportunity to gain the equalizer by me. That turn 16 will prove haunting, I think. I'm going to remember that for a long time. If there's a bright spot to this, get a couple of players leveled up. The catcher gains a sidestep. Aside from that, this Blitz-Ra gains 2 SPP thanks to an injury inflicted. And this was due to the MVP, and this was due to the passing play. So one of the things that's kind of unusual about this dice log here, and there's reason to suspect that the dice logs might not be actually accurate. I saw one video in which the player noted he had a lot of double skulls during the course of the match. He noted he had 6 double skulls. When he consulted the dice log, he noted it failed to show all the double skulls. So what he did was he used BB2 Stats Grabber, which was a third-party or fan-produced utility which grabs the match stats and provides an easy to read layout when uploaded to modrec.com, which is where I think it's called Goblin Spy. It's a great way of going from move to move, watching what the play is like, and it's a little more useful than the current dice log. And there's reason to suspect that this dice log might actually be bugged. I think someone needs to look into this, see whether that's actually the case, because the whole point of the dice log was to reassure players, or to assure players that the dices were the RNG was functioning exactly as it should. But if the dice log itself is bugged, that is not very reassuring. So I think that's something that Cyanide needs to look into, or it could be independently verified by other players. Try to compare the dice log readouts to BB2 Stats Grabber and see if there is reason to doubt the dice log, or indeed if there's any discrepancy. But that was the 6th match for the Amazons. Unfortunately, we suffered our first defeat. I wasn't disappointed in the defeat, it was eventually coming. What I was really disappointed was the manner in which the defeat occurred. Made a lot of mistakes in the first half. Granted, there were some also dodgy dice rolls, but overall my play throughout the course of this match was, I think, pretty awful, and I pretty much let myself down with my positioning. Who are we up against next? Can't quite remember, but there was now reason to see whether the Amazons could recover from their first defeat. I will see you next time.